Hi, everyone. Lovely to see you all and be with you all again. Please type in where you're from and say hello to us. We'd love to hear from you. And as you know, our guest today is known to many of you. And you know, when you talk about masters in coaching, indeed he is. I'm not going to say too much about him because I'd love for you to get an experience of Ujjwal. And of course, he can introduce himself by saying whatever he wants to. But Ujjwal has a lovely presence. I would love for you to just experience that today. Our topic for today is values and beliefs, or coaching on values and beliefs for ourselves, our clients, and the ripple effect working with values and beliefs create. So I have a question for everyone before handing over to Ujjwal. And this question is a part of today's topic. What does values mean for you? Please type some responses onto the chat box. What does values mean for you? There is no right or wrong answer. Don't worry about all that. Just go ahead and feel free to type. Let your inner spirit come out. So I'll keep an eye on the chat box. What does values mean for you? Oh, that's beautiful. Shanti, a way of life that believe in relates to. Values is my guiding light. You know, that's lovely. Values is what you are, the inner compass. Something that your software through which I operate. That's interesting. Lovely analogy there. What guides our behavior? Who am I and what is my purpose? Being aligned to my purpose and who am I? A set of boundaries, directions for my attitude. Lovely. Leading an authentic life based on my beliefs, and it guides everything I do. Yeah. Personal belief of right or wrong. Values are burnt in the chip inside. In the star. Values define me and my behavior, what I choose to give importance to while I'm here. It carries my sense of identity. It's a governing constitution of my life. Coaches or attendees, go on typing. We'd love to hear from you. Another question for you. What does beliefs mean for you? What are beliefs? So many of you explained about values, and if you want to continue, go ahead. But what does beliefs mean for you? Beliefs are the lenses through which we see the world, we view the world. My perception of truth or right. My judgments based on my experience. My most embedded conditioning of the world. Something I don't question easily, or easily question. A belief for me is something that I can change. That's very interesting. I have the power to change a belief. Yes, you do. The values I hold, belief systems, belief stems from values. Faith in something, and this chat is really flowing past. Insights we get from our experience. They are the lens through which we see and interpret events. Beliefs equal my perspective about life. So coaches, whatever you're typing here, this chat will be available for you. Beliefs are interpretation from experiences. There's some really lovely responses here, huh, Ujjwal?
Yeah, absolutely, Cindy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did Jose say that you like, Mervyn? Jose, what did you say? I can't find it. It's gone too fast. Veronica says they started with those I inherited, and now I believe I can change them for myself based on my experience and expectations. Yep. I'd like to see what Jose said, and I can't find that. Okay, it's gone. Something I did not ask evidence for in the, come on, lovely. The idea of experience shapes beliefs and includes change dimension. Lovely. Ujjwal, I'd love to, coaches, thank you. Attendees, thank you for all your feedback. Please go on typing as we talk. Today's conversation is going to be a thought-provoking one with you as part of the conversation, meaning continue chatting to us via the chat box or use the Q&A box. And from time to time, Ujjwal and I will do some linking to core competencies and open up this topic on beliefs and values in a way that expands what you are contributing or taking away for yourself and for clients. And having said that, which will hand over to you.
Thank you, Cindy. It's my privilege and honor to be with you today. And hi, everyone. I guess Cindy is not only my mentor, but she's my coach as well. And very happy to be with her today and with all of you. So yeah, and thank you for all the expressions that you have shared in the chat box. It means a lot, and I think that also expresses all your wisdom about it. So one of the things that as coaches, what actually changes as you move from ACC to PCC to a mastery level is how deeper you go into exploring who of the client, which you must have heard many a times this word, but what is there in who of the client? Client has his or her emotions, their values, their beliefs, and the core purpose or maybe larger purpose that they are chasing in life. So as a part of today's conversation, Cindy and myself will talk to you about how to explore values and beliefs at a deeper level and what kind of importance it carries in helping the client, facilitating client, or catalyzing the client to reach where they want to reach. Okay, so with all our invisibility, how do we help the client dive deeper? Because if you take an analogy of marine science, right? So you don't find pearls on the surface. You find pearls when you dive deeper. So as coaches, if you want to coach at a mastery level, we must master how to coach around values and beliefs, and then further deep into purpose and stuff like that. So Cindy, any of your insights on that?
Absolutely agree. You know, even as new coaches, we kind of work with you, we meaning everyone in coach area, including your trainers, work with new coaches or learner coaches. And I think from the word go, we do this expansiveness around the who of the client. What does this client want from the session? And then as we move in the agreement, we go to what's getting in this client's way, or what's below the surface for this client. or what is the client hoping to address or resolve? And you know, and I know, and everyone knows, a lot of times what's lying below the surface is a value or a belief. And out of that stems a particular attitude or a mindset or something that's stuck or something that's a dilemma. So fully agreed, which we're working with the view of the client is really quite a meaningful experience for both coach and client.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So, so there are just two slides, okay? Nothing more to show because then already some wonderful expressions have come. But is it okay, Cindy, if I may show the slide deck?
Of course.
Okay. All right. So if you are exploring values and beliefs, okay, and those who know me, I generally try and tweak the words around so that we can remember it easily. So, so values are actually like value. Slightly, I have tweaked the spelling there. If you see on your left, because if you are doing well, if your values are in place, if you are in congruence with your values, then you feel you are well. And if your values are in conflict somewhere, then you don't feel okay. So values are like, as everybody has expressed so nicely, that values are like our compass. They provide us direction. And most importantly, values are also, it can be equated with principles. Values, usually, I do not compromise, right? Yeah. So so we'll dive deeper into the space of how we can explore values with the clients and beliefs as well. But however, I would also like to recommend, as somebody has already mentioned, that it is important to find your values. And when I was searching online many years ago, I'm a practicing coach since last 10 years. I was searching maybe 6, 7 years ago. It was very, very difficult to find your value elicitation exercise. And I came across this wonderful work done by Dr. Richard Barrett, and on Barrett's Value Center. You can also go for personal values assessment. That's a free report that you can take out for yourself. And he has written an amazing book on it is evolutionary coaching, and how you coach around values. And that's an amazing read, which I would recommend everyone to look at. And if anybody has read that book or has any reference, you can also type in the chat box what is your experience with Barrett's Value Center. It is also an amazing assessment when you work on the organizational values and culture assessment. So they have some good stuff there, but we'll limit our discussion towards his book on evolutionary coaching. Okay, so I'll stop the screen for a moment and let me see if there is anything coming up in the chat box.
Coaches, feel free to ask your questions. And if you have good resources, we all know you do, please can you share it also on the chat box, resources around values. For example, if there's a particular tool, I've read somebody wrote on the chat box that when they used the tool, they discovered the real or the essence of the values. If you have any tools, type it into the chat box so we can share the collective wisdom, or we can gather some collective wisdom. So, Ujjwal, what are some tools for you that you normally see of value? I mean, you get a lot of, strange to use this word value twice, so I'm going to rephrase. What tools do you use when exploring values, either for
Yes.
yourself or clients?
Sure. Yeah. So I usually invite them to use this personal values assessments. Shanti, thank you for sharing the link in the chat. And it's on 7 levels of consciousness as well. So somewhere it also mimics some part of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and it gives you like 50 value words on the screen, and then out of which you need to select top 10 which you resonate with them the most. You go through the process of elimination, and that gives a report, and based on that some amazing interpretation could be done. So you need not to go through their certification or something like that. It's very, very simple. So yeah, again, via character strengths is values in action. Thank you, Pradeep. So and it's a part of positive psychology, where they have about 24 character strengths, 24 values, which are the universal values. And if you take that assessment, which are your top 5 values in action, that's a free report. For rest, you may have to um, uh, okay. Thank you, Shanti. So yeah, so this rest you have to pay some $49, where you get 24 values in action report. So yeah, these are the two things that I am familiar with, and I think it has helped me somewhere in the coaching conversation.
Which will I sometimes find, well, a lot of times, not sometimes, found people saying some of the values I have at work are not the same as values I would have at home.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I know how much of executive experience you have. So talk a bit about that.
Sure, Cindy. And I think we also have a question from Nayan. He also talks about the same thing, that do our values change? So there
Hmm.
are different types of values. So core values do not change with time, because this is something what I strongly hold on to and I do not compromise. But yes, so there are some work related values, as as they say in so there are some practicalities uh, around when I'm at work, maybe in order to achieve some target, achieve some outcome for the organization, I might do some shortcuts. So I may compromise with my values there. So my work values, my societal values are something. So for example, we are all in India, at least we are in the second very big resurgence of coronavirus. We are into perhaps resurgence of pandemic in India, at least. So people do not value safety. So when they are scared, they value safety. They put their mask on, but when they move out, they are absolutely not bothered about others. So it means, well, what something is core value for me as safety, personal safety, but I'm not worried about public safety. So there are some different kind of values also that are at play. Some societal values, work values, and also my personal values, which are core values.
Hmm.
And they do change as we grow, as we progress, but my core values usually do not change. They may get updated, but they do not change. This is my perspective.
So you were saying earlier on that values, you are well or be well. What did you say? Well, you, right?
Yes,
Value.
yes.
Well, you.
Well, dash you, yeah.
And so many times I want to relate this to coaching. And so many times when we talk to clients, you can hear their conflicting words, their language. You can hear in their attitude, you can hear in the emotions and the body language that all is not well. And as they tell the narrative, it begins to emerge that some things don't feel aligned.
Yeah.
So, what is the best approach, Ujjwal, to raise a topic of values or beliefs with that kind of a client What are some indicators or how we should raise it? Coach, this question is open to all of you. You can type under the chat box. How do we raise this question of values and beliefs with our clients? Would you?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so Cindy, in my coaching experience, I have seen that. Okay, so Pradeep, the question is that what are some of those indicators that? What are some of the words that the client use so that coach get an idea that okay, there may be something related to values or beliefs. I need to explore those things here. Yeah. So that was the question. So yeah, so what I have seen that there are two, three things happening. So if I'm talking about my values, so either if my values are at stake, then my energy would go down. If I'm talking about values which are at play there, which are in action there, or which are in motion there, then my energy, my tone, that will go up. And if I'm in a visual medium like on Zoom, with video on, then at least I would see that the face is lit up or face is dimming. So that is the time I would realize that there is something which is going on in the client's mind, and then I might get an opening. So the moment you said about, I'm saying very honestly, so there was a stress on this syllable, honestly. So I wanted to know what honesty would mean to you here and how honesty is uh, at play here. And then you get an opening to explore further.
Or is there any other reference or something else related to this honesty, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, what's behind this word? Yeah,
yeah,
as you explore on the topic.
sure,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like because
absolutely.
coaches use this word honesty sometimes. Honestly, I tell you, or honestly, you gotta believe me when I say,
Yeah,
there's something more there, right?
yeah,
Some unknown.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, correct. So whenever there is a shift in terms of tonality, energy, deflection, yes, absolutely, Pradeep, well captured. So whenever there is some change happening, then maybe it is I'm relating to my values or I'm checking in with my belief. So, so the beliefs are, again, if I may share the screen for a moment, and I hope it displays properly this time. So that's the beliefs are like belief. Okay. Again, you can see the tweaking of spelling there. So what a leaf does, leaf is actually doing photosynthesis for the plant. So it takes the sunlight, processes it, and then rest of it gets evaporated. So it's an entry gate into for energy. So beliefs are also for us is such that something which we are holding on to, and we synthesize it, and thereby our brain saves the energy of taking every sensory input as unique. So we usually try and see that, okay, is it fitting into my belief? If not, I try and distort it or discard it, or I try and contradict it. If it is matching with my belief system, then I will let it in. I'll process that thought. So acceptance rejection happens on the basis of my beliefs, which many a times I may not be even aware. Okay, so belief is a very, very big area also for us to explore with the client. And recommended reading, as many of you on this forum are aware, you must have read it also. My friend Pradeep is here. In fact, he was the one who introduced this book to me. So thank you, Pradeep. It's The Biology of Beliefs by Dr. Bruce Lipton. Amazing book that how our beliefs are like our operating system. And unless we consciously work on our beliefs, we are not going to get to where we want to reach. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. So beliefs is something that sat with us, could be a long time ago, could be more current,
Yeah.
but it sits with us as if it's a fact.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
only upon exploring it, examining it, analyzing it in our own introspect or reflection, or with a coach or whoever else, does that begin to emerge what is fact and what have I embedded as a belief, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Hmm.
Yes.
So
And
beliefs can change, which will, sorry to interrupt.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Beliefs
no, I
can
was,
change, right?
yes, absolutely. So beliefs can be changed with awareness and also with time and with my own readiness to work on my beliefs. It can be changed. Okay, because beliefs also can stand the taste of time. Some beliefs do not. So, like for example, my mother had a hard time using the smartphone. She believed that it will be too difficult for her, but then my daughter started training her on using the smartphone and WhatsApp and how to take the photographs and everything. So it has become her best companion. So because she was open to work on it, she could update her beliefs.
Yeah, I know I'm asking because, we all carry these beliefs that look like facts, and it's like sits with us as if it is a fact. Or
Yes.
there's a lot of attachment. Hmm?
Yeah.
Beliefs have quite a bit of attachment, and most of the time it appears like an emotional attachment that comes out as cognitive, meaning fact.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. So this is the beliefs are my truths,
Yeah, my truths.
and I hold on to
It's,
that strongly.
okay, I'll share one of my beliefs, Ujjwal, and you share yours. And we'll get everybody to share one of their beliefs that looks like a fact, but isn't upon examination or upon some introspect, you realize it's not. So, coach, just come, share your beliefs, and I'll share mine, and Ujjwal, I invite you to share yours. I hold a belief, quite a strong one, for a very long time, that I am not a social media. I don't like social media. I don't like being in the social media. I'm just not a social media person.
Right.
And I am fully aware that, of course, there are parts of me on social media, but a lot of it appears, with me unknowingly. So I let it be. I let it be. So I still hold very strongly to a fact or to the belief that I am not a social media person. It's work in progress for me, but nevertheless, the belief is stronger than the work in progress.
Yeah.
For you,
Yeah.
Ujjwal? Yeah.
Yeah, I can talk about, because as you know, I eat, drink, and breathe coaching. So yeah, when I started my coaching practice, my belief was that it's too difficult to coach. Oh my God, client has brought such dilemma. Client is he is already stressed about it. He doesn't have the answer. As a coach, I don't know what question to ask. Oh my God, how will I get him to the outcome? This is too difficult. And then probably my the coaching life went for a sea change when I met you and Ram, and then gradually three type of beliefs have been updated. So my belief in myself, my belief in the process of coaching, and my belief more than anything else, my belief in the client's ability to research and elevate themselves to the outcome that is desired. So more than anything else, I think journey to mastery, Cindy, I think you are the best person to perhaps validate that, or otherwise, that how do I believe in client so that And how do I show up with my presence, with my listening, with my questioning, so that client starts believing in themselves in case if they are operating from some deficit.
Yeah. And it's, I acknowledge you saying that, Ujjwal, because the space you create, whether you have a belief or not, the space you create for coaching is such an open one, just this open space that for clients, it's just a space for them to grow, develop, and just be vulnerable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Thank you. And another belief that whenever I have an important call, my Wi-Fi would go for reset. So I'm scared of two things these days during pandemic is mood of wife and mood of Wi-Fi. They both scares me.
Oh, that is so sweet. Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. So in coaching, beliefs could be limiting beliefs for the client, and also could be resourceful beliefs or enabling beliefs, which will help them to move forward. So it has really helped, Cindy, in a coaching conversation. Whenever I see that client is operating from limiting belief, and if I ask a question so that they can express better, we explore deeply. And then I check in about the associated emotion with that. And I simply ask, so how, instead, so somebody says that I'm so frustrated with this and the belief is already expressed. Then I ask that, okay, so in that case, what kind of emotion would you like to experience instead? And then the client says that, no, I would like to really feel confident out of this. Okay, so what are some of your enabling beliefs which may help you to feel confident or feel relaxed or feel better? So I think the beliefs and its associated emotion, shifting the state of emotion, and then what kind of beliefs that can support them to feel what they just want to feel.
Yeah. Yeah, that's powerful, Ujjwal. And even where in your body does this belief sit, right?
Absolutely correct.
Because
Absolutely.
a lot of time the belief sits even in our bodies. It's not just, um, I mean, lower down. It's not just cognitive and there. It falls lower down in us.
Oh yes. Oh yes. And on that note, Cindy, I would like to mention this great book written by Dr. Cadence Pert, and that book is known as Molecules of Emotion. Dr. Cadence Pert was uh, she's known as mother of psychoneuroimmunology, and she did a lot of research in neuropharmacology, and she came up with this research that mind and body, they are not separate. Mind and body are very integrated, and they are integrated. The glue is emotion.
Mm,
And she said that this whole bunch of emotions are not stored only in the brain. They can be stored in every cell. So
mm.
when you actually ask the client
Well,
about where it is experienced in the body, you are actually accessing at a cellular level.
absolutely. Yeah, as I said that, I realized why am I detaching the brain from the body? And so I rephrased the question. But you're absolutely right, because it's all a part of who the client is or who we are, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So,
And believe, sorry, Ujjwala, I also have to say this while we're talking about the multiple levels. Beliefs also have this spiritual attachment.
yes, yes. Yeah, and if I can mention that, Cindy, Dr. Bruce Lipton has carried out that research for close to 30 years plus, and he has mentioned that till the age of 7, whatever, because at that time cognition is not developed, so our upbringing, our ecosystem at that time, our circumstances at that time, so whatever is up to the age of 7 is embedded in our brain, that becomes kind of an autonomous operating system for rest of our life. And unless somebody decides to update that operating system, it will continue. So maybe at the age of say 47, I would continue to uh, in the key events of my life, my decisions would be mostly be rooted into what up to the age of 7, the beliefs I have been programmed with, which even I am not aware. So and many of the diseases also manifested through my beliefs. And if I alter the beliefs, I can alter the diseases as well. Hence, it is so important to explore beliefs and values in any coaching conversation. Yeah, yeah, okay. So
So our coaches or the attendees on the call were talking about their own beliefs. And there's quite some thought-provoking stuff, so insightful stuff that came up there. And I see, Ujjwal, I'm just doing a check onto the chat box
sure.
and the Q&A box to see what we need to pick up on. I'm sorry that my finger is on my screen, but I can't even access this chat box. There we go.
Yes.
Please, Ravi asked, please elaborate on values getting updated. And we have another question. Do we change our values as we grow? How do we change our values as we grow?
Okay. Okay. So first on values getting updated. So if I may define what is getting updated. So which means that I'll upgrade my values or I'll update it. Okay, both in a way means the same thing. So for example, that right in my childhood, okay, I was told that sincerity and hard work will take you to places. But as I grew, as I started working, I got to know that these are not the only two things which can take you to places, but perhaps you would also need uh, you would know also need to impress somebody. You would need to do perception management, and you influence someone in some other way and still get promoted, for example. So so maybe my sincerity, dedication, hard work, commitment has not helped. It has helped me to come to this level, but I'm not able to move forward. There's a lot of politics around. Okay, but at the same time, loyalty is also my value. So now what will I do is that I will update my bunch of values. That, okay, I have been working in this organization for 10 years. I have given my sincerity, hard work, dedication, commitment. But I see that somebody uh, got promoted in an undue manner. So my values are cut, my values are hurt. So I'll update my values and drop perhaps loyalty. I'll still be loyal, but I would be loyal to my work, not loyal to my organization. And I might say that my loyalty, let me put a break to it, let me park it aside, and let me look up for another job. So I have not dropped my values, but I have updated my values, especially the application of values. I will not have all my value cards for my play, because I know that some of my values have not given me the outcome which I wanted.
Hmm. That's beautifully explained, Ujjwal, because so often when we hold a value dear, like loyalty, we have an expectation that those we engage with, whether it's your employee, your relationships, family, friends, we have an expectation they all hold the same value, right? Like
Yeah,
loyalty.
yeah, sure.
And when that expectation is not there or not met equally, there's no alignment to that value, then we're quite hurt. As you said, we are hurt.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
we then forced into this position of introspect, reflection, quiet times,
yeah.
upset for a while, and then comes the aha moment and the updating of the value.
Hmm. Yeah, correct. And also one more thing, Cindy, that you know we and our client and everybody of us, we are living in a world where there is constant efforts to manipulate our values and beliefs, and they are going on online. We are not even aware that how we are being a part of the game, which perhaps can alter our beliefs in no time. So with self awareness, with being very very mindful of what are we letting in our mind, and what are we processing it, and what are we allowing, what are we not allowing. So the biggest work perhaps we need to do as coaches also, that how our clients beliefs and perhaps values are also influenced, where are the triggers coming from. That's where I think what we have learned from you is the systemic exploration that is useful. So check where are the different connection, where it is coming from. So if you are saying this, what makes you express this? So these are the things which, so you need to go in the periphery as well as need to go deeper and get a collective perspective, that what is triggering the client, so and what is at conflict.
Yeah, I love this. Which will let's take this into the core competency framework, right?
Sure, sure.
Because this exactly what you were talking about, drawing from what our coaches were saying in their sharing around what is a value, what is a belief, and sharing their own values
Uh-huh.
that they hold or beliefs that they hold that may not be true. I'm going to pull this all into embodies a coaching mindset.
Yeah,
Because in that core competency, there's many elements there that helps us ground ourselves, right?
yeah,
Into this emotional, mental stability, groundedness. And many times in this groundedness space, we begin to examine what is keeping us a bit unstable or causing some anxiety or stress or disruption, discomfort. And we figure that out using this reflective process that we encourage to use, or
yeah,
trusting our intuition. And we begin to prepare ourselves or get into a space of more groundedness by doing some work on ourselves. If you want to call it self reflection, self coaching, or working with colleagues and partners to help you through that. But that's a lovely core competency, right? Because it talks about our coaches show up.
yes, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. And then as we are talking about it, Cindy, I felt like so it's definitely a part of coaching mindset, CC new marker, a new competency, CC2. But if it is okay, then it is so clearly written in the markers, CC6 and CC7, some part of it though, that
Yeah,
clearly outlines the values
yeah,
and beliefs and the stuff that we are just discussing. So is it okay
Absolutely.
for me to share the screen, Cindy?
Yes. Well, let's look at that marker, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So
So,
in the current one, you've got the current one out, Ujjwal? Yes.
no, this is the new, yeah, the new one,
The updated.
update
Okay.
one. Yeah.
Coaches, the updated one, Ujjwal has got on his screen, is 7.1. And in the current markers, it's 6.1. Go ahead, Ujjwal.
Yeah. Correct. So evokes awareness, because this whole exploration will help the client be aware about what's going on inside, what's going underneath. So, so as it is clearly written in 7.1, is about questions about current way of thinking, feeling, values, needs, wants, beliefs, and behavior is something what we need to dive deeper. Okay, and also one more thing that perhaps it's since both the words are mentioned here, needs and the wants. Okay, in Kucharya we do enough of discussion and debate and dialogue around that, but maybe a client would talk about the want. But if coaches explore the needs, because most of the time what we want on the surface, but what we need might be something different. And if the coach explores on the surface, if he just coaches around the want, then maybe it is very around ACC or primitive level of coaching. But if you go underneath and help them discover the need, because one of the beautiful things that Dr. Cadence Pert has mentioned in her book, this Molecules of Emotion, which I've just recommended, and can I bring that up, Cindy? Just one useful,
Yes.
yeah. So she has mentioned that feelings are the messengers of needs. So if I am feeling angry, if I am feeling insulted, ignored, frustrated, or I am feeling happy, satisfied, elated, that means that if I'm operating from any disturbing feeling, that means that my body is telling me, my brain is telling me that some of your needs are unmet. So maybe I am becoming angry because people don't believe in me, and hence I am becoming angry. So that means my need to belong or my need for acceptance is not met. So if as a coach, if I explore that emotion and find out what are those needs that are not met, perhaps, hence this feeling of anger is sustaining. The moment client voices out, even if their needs are not met immediately in the session, but just by expressing that, client would feel better. That mental cloud will be, uh, there will be more clear sky in their mind, and that becomes less of a struggle for the coach to, coach them around the difficult emotions.
Absolutely. And Ujjwal, can I pick something up here?
Sure.
So under evokes awareness, coaches look at 7.2, 7.3, and 7.4.
Yeah.
You will see the emergence of how the coach helps the client or asks questions or does inquiry or invitation to help the client explore. Pay attention to this, to explore beyond the client's current thinking, beyond what client brought to the session, to new or expanded ways of thinking or feeling about either 2.2 talks about themselves, the woe of the client. 7.2 talks about the woe of the client. 7.3, same words, but beyond or expanded ways of thinking on the what of the client. And 7.4, same words, expanded thinking or new behavior or feeling towards the outcome the client desired from the session. But the key here is the expanded way of thinking or the new way of thinking. The markers look like a mouthful, I know that, but if you break it down for yourself, you will see what they're talking about. It's like what clients bringing to the session and how does the coach explore with the client to help them by asking questions or doing some inquiry or invitation on expanded or new ways of thinking. Thinking, being, feeling, whatever it is. So this is quite useful when exploring beliefs, values, mindsets, needs, wants. It's quite useful and helpful to 7.1. 7.2, 3, and 4, that exploration helps you with 7.1. But you'll stop there because I could say too much there.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. That's Cindy at her best. Yeah, and also Cindy, as we are into that space, I also would like to bring up to everybody's awareness, and that we collectively we are expressing that the whole piece about that, how would I know, is there a value conflict, or is there values are at play very strongly, client feeling about something, or is the beliefs, different beliefs, polarities are happening. So that for that, I need to be present and I need to listen. So if I'm present, I'll be able to listen. Then I can explore. So adjoining markers here about CC 6.2, 6.3, and 6.4 and 6.5. But 6.2 to 6.5 is something which will give us an opening into diving deeper. Okay, and those of you who are familiar with this stepwell system in India, okay, Cindy, in stepwell, so you need to step down, climb down to reach to the water source. So you can actually go to the water source by stepping down, climbing down. Okay, so this is something like this. So if I am present and I have listening, then I would know that the tonal shifts are happening, energy shifts are happening, non-verbal cues, body language changing, or some other behaviors, some words are repeated. I don't like this, I don't like that. So I can sense that there is some, either the emotional turmoil is happening or emotional settling down is happening, or there is some value, there is some beliefs. So that will give me an opening. So we all are talking about Facebook, but the client face is a book. If you turn each page, then you can read through, you can see through. And that is where coaching becomes easy. Client is giving all the cues. It's an open book exam.
Which will you use these analogies that make me want to sit back in my chair and take a time out to think about it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one more marker and then I can't avoid pulling this out before we start to wind down the session, okay? Which will, if you could go to, I think in this one, in the updated ones, it's 3.4.
Yeah.
Okay, let's put it here. Right, okay. Which will take out the highlight so because I'm on my phone.
Yeah.
The coach partners, now coaches, do you now see that 2.4 could be a contribution or an opening up of what is getting in this client's way, or what can we help this client address or resolve or manage in order for them to achieve their goal. What can coach, or how can coach partner with this client to help them see what's getting in the way, using these words: address, resolve, barriers, challenges, dilemma, so that if they worked with that thing that was getting in the way, now they would achieve their goal, right? And here could be the opening. This could be the opening of that conversation where values, beliefs, wants, mindset, patterns begin to start showing up. Because now you're helping the client go, what's below the surface? Like below the surface as an iceberg model. What you are seeing on top and what's lying below the surface. And if we help the client firstly define it, like put some words to it, what's below the surface. And then we help the client explore it. Now we are helping the client to get to their goal or to work towards achieving that goal they want. So we've got 2 more minutes to go. And yeah, there seems to be now a quietness on the call, like everybody's in reflective mode.
Yes.
Well, that's the sense I get. Are you getting that sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So coaches, let's Ujjwal and I will continue talking, but let's pull this all together by raising this question and getting some of what you're reflecting on out in the open. What learnings or what are you taking away from today's session? Please, would you type it onto the chat box? What are you taking away from today's session? That'll help you also debrief from today's session or round up for yourself on today's session.
Yes.
What would you like to say to round up?
Cindy, I think with everybody's expressions and the collective consciousness that everybody brought in the session today, I think some of the useful takeaways that even I had, that this whole piece around values, around beliefs, and our ability to change them, update them. So finally, that puts us back into the command, so that nothing which is which cannot be worked upon, and especially when you have a coach along with you, that working on self could be accelerated. And I wish a place in the world where all the coaches are busier than ever, because we are in special times. So anybody who's getting certified as a coach cannot sit idle, because the world needs coaches more than ever before.